Ready? So, how did you feel about the conversations you had today? What did they make you think?
They enforced a lot of things I already knew about my relationship with Patrick, but there was some things that I thought I knew him better than maybe I do. But he's obviously getting older now, so things are changing and stuff like he's not a wee baby anymore that I can spoon feed. This is what you like. But I enjoyed it, and it enforced the relationship that we've got, and I really enjoyed that part of it. Really enjoyed that part of it.
That's sexy. How about you? How did it make
Yeah,
you
I
feel?
thought it was quite interesting how I think we were both quite similar actually, me and Sky. And like you say, when you bring kids up, you you think they're going to think how you think, but obviously once they get older, then they have the chance to do think their own things, and then. But yeah, I don't think I really learned anything, but I just want to be there to support Sky with whatever she wants to do. Because I know she'll just do it anyway. So she is quite headstrong. So,
Did you learn anything from Callum today?
Really enjoyed it. Biggest thing going through my head is that you don't sit down and properly listen to your kids. In a busy house, school, work. So what you made us do today, I don't mean you made us do, but you gave us the opportunity is to pause and actually really listen. Because a lot of the conversations is the first thing that comes out your head, whereas you made us think, no, wait a minute, what else am I thinking about this? So I really enjoyed it. It was a bit emotional for me and Callum, and we're not like that. It's not because we're alpha males, we're not. But we're just, those emotions will just stay tucked away.
Did that surprise you?
Surprise? We've just never spoke. You know, we love each other unconditionally, but we never speak about being proud or anything, I don't think. Probably told him that, but never sat and listened to each other's, what actually, yeah, I know you're proud of me, Dad, but we've not broken it down before. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing for me, is just to properly listen to each other. And it didn't feel like a dad's son, it just felt like a really grown up adult conversation, which is striking me because you guys are targeting young people, but those young people, we need to treat them in a different way.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me done. I'm exhausted now. That's.
David, what did you learn? Because you and Aaron are really close, I think. But
yeah.
Is there something
So,
that surprised you?
we are really close. So we talk kind of openly about lots of stuff. I think it did go back. It was good to go back and reflect back in decisions around about 16, 17 and 18. And Anne had quite different decisions because she was doing something which was quite, professional footballer was a thing. And he decided to walk away from it. That was a massive decision, as opposed to being, if you like, kicked out of it. But, and people couldn't believe that. It was other people's judgment. And I thought, and he knew that would happen. He knew that decision would have an impact on him because people go, you can't possibly walk away. So my emotions were probably attached to that. That was a big decision. But then followed his passion, the thing he really wanted to do. And I think if I go back to that point, I think lots of people could maybe the decisions they make back then, very few you end up later on still being in that position. But we all think this big decision at 16, 17 is defining your life. But actually, when you look back in most of these conversations at this age, you find that actually we got so uptight about that then, we should be opening their options, not closing them down. And that's what I got out of it, that actually, Aaron spent virtually 10 years preparing for this profession he was going to follow and decided to completely go in a different route. And I think lots of people either do that unintentionally or intentionally, but it's probably a fight with parents like me that said, no, that's what you're doing, you put all this effort into it, but that's a big decision. But in the end up, there's probably more right decisions than wrong ones. So that was my, it was going back to that era when big decisions were being made, and actually in reflection, they were the right ones.
Did you try and persuade him out of it, David?
Actually, not. But I didn't want to. He wasn't being hasty, I think. But it was having invested so much. It was that investment, invested so much to get to that point. But I could tell he was unhappy. He spent a lot of time being unhappy, and he had a lot of influence at that time. That, you know, in that particular profession, it was a job. And football players, actually, when you see them up close, it's a job. You know, we think it's this glitzy lifestyle, it's a job. I mean, you get over that, then following his passion, he'd wanted to, since he was 9 or 10, start a business. He started businesses, even when he was at college, he started businesses, not very good businesses, right? But he's always had a passion for that. So, and end up, it was about following the path that will make him happy. But we thought, also, there's a bit of resilience in there. Maybe I didn't want him to do something too easy, just to walk another way as well. You know, Aaron could do with more resilience in his life, because we made it a bit too easy. You know, moving things to make things easy. So I think part of it as well is there's a shift now. There's somewhere you need some toughness in your life, I think, just to sharpen you up. Not tough love particularly that way, but you need a bit of, so that was my, during that period, it wasn't that you're not going to do it, because that would have been for me.
Yeah.
I want to pick up on something that you said, Stuart, around, you know, you're with Callum a lot and you have opportunity to talk to him, but you haven't really spoken like that before. Do you think that parents need more support? You know, as parents, we're all parents of kids of this sort of age. Do you think we need more support or a better understanding of how to have those types of conversations?
Probably. So what you're making me think about as they're growing up, and Callum was horrendous as he was going through puberty and stuff. So, but I had a bit of insight to that he couldn't control that. But if I hadn't had that, you know, him and I could really have, you know, fought with each other to the point of almost physical fighting. But I understood he had no control because he was going through puberty and stuff. So what you're making me think, you're asking me that question, is I had the insight to understand that. But if a lot of folk don't, the kid's trying to grow up, mature, at school, meant to be making these big decisions, with some parents, you know, really harsh on them, which I never was. But you really, well, I don't know, I was going to use the word, you could really get it wrong, couldn't you? Spectacularly wrong in that really critical period of, probably just as they're sitting on that fives, what are you going to be doing in your life? And you're making me think lots, because I've kids quite a spread age-wise. It'd be interesting for you to ask my other kids similar questions. There's a wee project for you. Not for my benefit, I think it'd be fascinating, because my oldest is 35 and a doctor, so she's the clever one, but she's got no common sense. But then my 17-year-old that's got some mild learning difficulties with her dyslexia and stuff. And it's been fascinating listening to some of their sibling conversations. You sit back and listen to them like Christmas and stuff, and we're all in the room because all the guys are working, so us getting in a room as a family is quite rare now. And it's only because you've asked me now, and so I'm a bit like you, I'm 100 mile an hour, right? Work and everything else, so you're making me stop today and slow down and think about it.
Do you speak to your friends about what you do as a parent? Do you have conversations, you know, about what Patrick's going to do next with your friends in your peer group?
To be honest, my closest friends don't have kids. I don't really know why. It's just never happened. And friends through cheer, it's not that kind of relationship that I would sit and there's certain mothers in the cheer group that will talk about the kids' exams and, you know, where they're going to go and what they're going to do. But it's no, I've not got that closeness with them as I would with my actual close friends. And as I say, they don't really have kids. And if they have kids, they're really young. They've been late to have their kids. So, but I think I would. I think I certainly would do that. And there is, as I say, there is certain cheer mums that I speak to, and they're more I put this politely, maybe more worried about their kids not doing as well as what they could be, and such. So we have conversations like that, I suppose, and try and support each other, but it's few and far between.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I've got a couple more questions, and one of the things I want to pick up on, we spent a bit of time talking about education, and all of our kids have had gone to different schools, different backgrounds, different subjects, but how do you as a parent feel about where education is in Scotland just now?
I feel it's better than it was when I was at school, but I'm not sure whether, what they could do to improve it. I'm not completely clued up. I'll hold my hands up to that. I'm not completely clued up into where it could go. But it amazes me when Patrick and Fallon come home with the stuff that they come home, and I go, nothing like that at school. And I know it was a long time ago, and I think I forget how long ago it is sometimes, but we had nothing like that.
Like the homework that
homework they get and the support that they get, like supported study and the lead up to exams and all the extra things that teachers now put in place for kids. I think that's fantastic, and I urge both of them to use that tool, because it's there to be used. Don't waste it. Do you know what I mean? But they may think that there could be further things that they could put in place for them.
How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm quite conflicted. Because I think there's good teachers working hard, but they're working in a system that's politicised, and the exam processes still dominate more than it should, although there is subjects now there never was when I was young. So I still think we're measuring cleverness or academia, whatever you want to call it, in a slightly older fashioned way, which puts kids under pressure. I think the teacher training, you did ask, the teacher,
I want to know.
I think the teacher training's not quite hitting the mark, because I'm not sure they're putting individual kids at the heart of the programme. But how do you do that with so many kids with diverse learning needs? I don't know, so I'm not saying it's easy. And each school has to, they're measured on the number of passes they have. So that's the political bit, which maybe drives, it must be difficult for some of the teachers who are trying to do their best and maybe hamstrung by a system. But my personal experience, which is schooling's been okay with kids, there's just always those teachers that think they know better than you or your kids, so they don't listen to your kids and they don't listen to you. I mean, you got parents nice and stuff that talk to you as if you're the child. That really winds me up. So it's difficult. I'm not. And is it a job I would do? No. So I can't sit here and be too critical, because I wouldn't want to do it.
It's not an easy job, is it?
It's not an easy job.
Especially at a high school
It's
teacher.
not.
And the behaviour, I think, is a big problem as
You're
well.
absolutely spot on, and that's horrendous, isn't it? And that's back to the culture, society, and what state is it in just now? Why is that?
Also, I think it's funny, because some of the things you're saying I absolutely agree with, but also think on the other side, and you can aim this at me as well, is back in my day, a parents' night would be a night for me to fear, even if I was doing well.
Yeah, right.
I remember that horrible feeling in your stomach, because you were sitting in the house going, you're going to kill me when I come home.
I know, but and back in the day, but there was a bit of pressure on it, and I think now it feels like it's gone entirely the other way. If a kid isn't doing well for any reason, it's the school's fault, it's the teacher's fault, it's someone else's fault, and we're lacking resilience. I think from a parental point of view, we need to accept that our kids, they need to show a bit of attitude and resilience and effort, and not expect it's all going to be laid for them. And I think that, maybe back in the day, I don't think that's too far this way, right? Because even if I was doing well at school, it was how much of a doing was I going to get, right, on a scale between nothing and 0.01 if zero is murder. But so we don't want to do it by fear, but I think it needs to be a bit of reality, because what we're finding from businesses is they're getting lots of people now arriving in business that don't have resilience, that aren't ready for the workplace, who've been looked after too much, who've been, that thing about taking Aaron and I doing an arm wrestle there, I want to win, right, so that's not right, we're both competitive. But, everybody wins at school and nobody loses, and I know that sounds like a 58-year-old, but there's a fine balance, in fact, not even a fine balance between life has got bumps in the road. So let's get our kids ready for bumps in the road, because guess what happens when you're at a bump in the road? If you're not, it's like the world's at an end. And we discussed it this morning about, your son is away in Mexico at the moment, in South America, and you're saying, well, we said it's not all brilliant on a holiday. Well, you know what? That's what life's like. It's not all brilliant. So let's get prepared for, all the bumps we're going to get, the good and the bad, and I think it's went too much the other way.
I agree, we've got parental responsibility. I totally get that, and you don't always get that with a lot of, I don't expect the teachers to have the answers to everything. So how do we build that resilience then? What does that look like?
I know. I've
you know.
got one kind of example. Like, Patrick is a clever boy and he is doing well, and he sat his Nat 5s and he got all A's, and I told you the story about running down the stairs and being ecstatic. And when he got his higher results, he passed all his highers, he got an A, 3 B's and a C. And you would think that the world had ended.
Right, okay. As it
He
was
was
is.
devastated. And I was like,
Wow.
Patrick, you've passed all your higher, son. And he was like, I got a C for chemistry. And I went, and you can resit it. And he is resitting it. And he'll do fine, he'll do great. But it was as if that day, I'm like, my wee boy's just passed 5 hires and he's up in his room crying because he thinks, this is it, I'm not going to do anything.
Because you'd locked him in the room, of course, that's it.
But that was really tough, because I'm going, see if when I was 17 and I passed, because I only got 1 hire all those years ago, but I was like, Patrick, look, I don't care, it's not good enough. And it took him ages.
That pressure on himself to get, like, did he want
Absolutely,
all
he wanted all these. And he was devastated. And I'm like, but Patrick, look, you've passed your hires, you've passed them.
Do you think that's part of the thing, though, this perfection thing about people, selfies and all that, and like making their life look amazing when it's not.
There's an image to uphold, and see, because he's head boy and all that, and it was just, I'm like, oh my God.
But do you know what? I have a very similar story from my eldest son, and really similar. Did really well, and then didn't get the grades, similar grades, and didn't get them for his hires. And we were talking, I don't know, a couple of months ago about that. And actually, he was reflecting, going, that was probably one of the best things that happened to me, Mum, because I learned a number of lessons from it, and actually I realised I didn't do that much work, and and I think sometimes as parents we want to instantly take that pain away or fix it, or as you say, sweep things out the road. And actually sometimes you just need to
make them have a wee reality check.
And actually it was really interesting for me hearing him say, actually, and do you know what? Doesn't matter now anyway, because I'm off doing this. And I think sometimes a little bit of time in hindsight is a great thing, but you don't feel it in the moment, do you?
I mean, he was totally beside himself.
But it's not like everyone has to go through that in life. I think, like you were saying, you can't have no bumps in your life.
That gives them the resilience that they maybe need if they go, well, it's not going to be all easy peasy and it's not going to all just fall into my lap. But it was horrific that day.
So one of the things that we were all talking about this morning is, what do we want for our kids and what do we want for their future? And I think all of our answers were really similar. We want them to be happy, we want them to be successful, and we want them to be healthy. Right? Those were, if you were doing our flip boards just now, that would be it. Did you not? Well, then you're out this question. But if on that aspect, sometimes, how do you feel about how do we support that? Because you can't be happy all the time. And how do you measure that success? And how do you keep them healthy? If those are the things, then how do we do that?
Yeah, I know. I was thinking back to, like, when we spoke today and we had the conversation, and I always thought that I did speak to Patrick quite a lot about stuff, but clearly I kind of skirt round things, and I go, oh, you're doing really well, you're doing well at school, you're good at this, you're good at that, but we don't delve any deeper than that. And he knows, and I go, I'm really proud of you, but I don't say I'm proud of you because are things like that. Do you know what I mean? I think that's taught me today that we can sit down and have more open conversations about why I'm proud of him, and reflect on, and him saying to me, oh, I think you're a really supportive mum. That made me really happy today, because I think sometimes Patrick takes that for granted, that I'm just always going to be there and be that supportive mum. So that was why I did, I was like, oh my God, that's nice. So nice to hear. He knows that I'm there, and I know that he appreciates me. But I think he just assumes that I'm always going to be there.
So we frightened to ask him? Why did you not ask him?
I don't know. I just think, like, see Patrick, like, see if anything goes wrong with his cheer routine, I'm first in the firing line, because I'm first to run and go, that was great, well done. That wasn't, it was rubbish. So, and I just take it and go, right, okay, that's fine, and walk away, and because it doesn't matter what, I'm always going to be there to be his biggest cheerleader and support him.
I think David's telling us you should have said, yeah, it was rubbish.
But he sees things. We as parents sitting watching that, though, we watch it and we're like, that was amazing. But there's this wee tiny thing. Somebody's hand wasn't in the right place, and somebody's foot moved, and they come off and they're all rolling and greeting.
It's that measure thing. What we're measuring against? Measure against the what? Who says that's the right thing or the perfect thing?
Yes, and it's the perfection side, because they know that people are watching them from other teams, and they go, oh, they made a mistake there. Because they do it to other teams. They go, oh, they've made a mistake. Oh, they had a wobble there, mum. So, aye. Hearing today that he thinks that I'm supportive made me really even more proud of him. That
Funny,
makes
just
sense.
and just as I'm thinking about it, though, Jen knows, because I've said it a few times, that I'm writing a book called I'm 58, but it was better than Maddie.
Are you actually writing that book?
I'm actually writing that
Are you
book.
actually writing that book?
No, he's not written a word is going down yet. It's in the
It's in Letterley.
Is it in letter? Oh,
Yes.
Excellent.
Right. So, as all, but I made loads and loads of mistakes back in the day, and continue to all through my career, and I've done some good things as well. But back in my day, I guess at their age and a bit younger, you made mistakes in isolation. Right, so I wasn't sent to the world. People didn't see. Just that was the way things, and it's just different. I'm not saying good or bad, but it's just different. And I think the other thing about parents, because I'm in the same boat. Aaron had a bad game, and you see how they play today, and go, oh, you were. And his bottom lip would start. Oh, you were great, right? I'll let your coach deal with that nonsense. But I think it's also about lots of parents are worried about what others think, because it is publicised and it's totally different, and I don't think it's a good thing, but it is what it is. And I don't know how we turn some of that round, but you're talking about education system earlier on. Education system includes college and university. We think it's just school. And actually, just following everybody into university at the moment is a thing, because people think it's a thing to do. But university, by and large, people are going, I picked the wrong thing. I don't know why I'm doing this. Why do I do that? I think that there is a bit of a feel of a switch that says university is not the be all and end all. And actually finding the thing that you want to do, that you're good at, you've got a thing about, there's talent everywhere. So I think that thing about you could fail in isolation because nobody put it in the Falkirk Herald that I'd made a muck up, because that was their only form of doing things. And I think everybody's failure is now
social media.
It's out there. And somewhere, I think we need to, as parents, ride that out for our kids and say, aye, so what?
Exactly, yeah, so what?
And also for us, so what?
Absolutely. Did you think of the early? I'm certainly think differently now. Not quite as old as you yet. But with some of that about you though, and you wanting to be liked or seen as a good parent, because now I go to work and don't care if folk like me. I really don't. Folk think that's a bit funny. You want to be respected, but I don't care if they like me. But you're making me think, but back then, was that an influence in my head? I don't think it was. But there was pressure, not because of social media in our young younger days, but it was the school playground judging. I hated taking them to school because
Oh, like dropping off.
that was the equivalent of a chat on some social media the day was. Yeah,
So you're very like my husband. He's very of the same mindset as you. Like people, he goes to work and if people don't like him, he doesn't really care because he's just there to do his job and he's not there to make friends. If that makes sense. Whereas I'm very much. I don't want people to like me, but I think I like to be friendly with everybody. Make a point of being friendly with people.
There's kind and nice are two different things. That's two. You can be kind, but put boundaries round for the kids. But you're still being kind, but being nice is you're not challenging their behaviour or their thoughts because you don't want to hurt their feelings. And Scram brought his first essay home for me and said, "Will you have a look at this?" Because I was like, "Geez, right, I'm a bit rusty." You know what I mean? It's a few years since I've done my stuff. And I was gobsmacked at the quality of it, for one. But then I texted him back to say, how much do you want me to critique this? Because then I don't want to tell him this was rubbish, and it wasn't. But
so you were going to be nitpicking.
A pass is a pass, but I didn't know if he was wanting to blast it, you know. So how much do you want me to really critique this? And he's like, no, I want you to be really honest. You make me think I was 80% honest, but held back a wee bit until I got him face to face and went through it. And I'm like, what do you think of that bit? Well, actually, that bit is rubbish, isn't it? Aye, it is rubbish. I said, at the end, we just fed up. You run out of steam. You know, but it did. But because you love them so much, you're like, and then my work brain would kick in. So you're saying your dad brain, work brain. I thought, no, I need to be really honest with him. You know, but I was blown away with it. Much cleverer analysis than I think I would have at that age.
Today made me look at Patrick in a slightly different light, that he's this young person that's going to do all these different things. He's not just my wee boy, my son that I'm going to mould, and I've done all that. I've done as much as I probably can at that part. It's his turn now to take over the reins and build his future and his career, and I think I appreciate that a bit more, if that makes sense. That I need to let him be the person he's going to be. I can't be there to pick up the pieces every time, and I've got to let him run with it. And if he goes to university and it doesn't work out for him, then he'll find his path. You just need to be there in the background to support and be there if he needs you to talk to.
Be that quiet cheerleader.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yep, exactly.
How about you, Susan? Because Sky's about to move into work. How do you feel about it today? What would you tell somebody else?
I mean, I think what the whole power and futures.
No, just about what have you learned from today about having conversations with Sky or your kids? Is there anything you would encourage your friends to do?
I think because she doesn't really live with me anymore. I think, and we're not in each other's pockets. We don't speak every day. We do message, but just not that I'm a parent and guru or anything, but I think I do have a good relationship with both my girls, and they know I'm here if they need me. And I don't need to know everything that's going on in their life, but if they do need anything, they know they can come to me. So Sky, after being at uni for so long, is going into maybe the working world, but also she's going to be travelling and stuff as well. So it's letting them live their own lives, like what you're saying, and make their own decisions.
100%.
And just being there.
You can only be there to guide them if they ask for the guidance. Do you know what I mean? You can't make them do what you want them to do. That's a big...
Or live your life through them. Like
Exactly.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah. No, very similar. Just for me, it's keep giving them space, because I always have. And that's why they're all really different, my kids, for different reasons. So to keep giving them that space, but they just know you're always there. That's, the kids have all told me that. You just knew I was always there. The other thing you guys have got me thinking about, though, is vocational education and the gap that's there just now. So well done, you guys, for trying to champion that. I think that's awesome.
Something else I need to say from today, and I know this, but it reinforces it. We've got some mad, and I put Anna into this relationship with your children. because we are so proud of them. There, I'm more emotional about them than I was about Aaron, right? But honestly, we've created, I don't know, some bond with them, not necessarily this way, but that way. You know, even your boy doing his TikToks, you know, look, this is brilliant, right? Sky, who's been fantastic, and we talk about it all the time, and the decisions she's made. Callum, well, I've told you, you know, and there's others. Big Andrew that wasn't here, what an amazing guy. I could go through, you know, like 30 or 40 people we could rhyme off. And sometimes we don't realise how proud other people are of our children. We're quite harsh on them. And then they play it back to us and we're going, aye, actually, I never even thought about that. And I just got you crying earlier.
You've, again, right, if we're going to get a bit huggy for a second, right, but also you guys, I can't speak for Callum, but you've given Callum opportunities he would not have had from a really young age, but you trusted him as a young age with quite a powerful thing. So that's, you guys, and he talks a lot about the opportunities. I didn't know who you folk were. I didn't, I mean, today I think I know you much more, and I see what you're trying to do, and it's pretty awesome, guys. But, so you've done a lot for Callum.
I think for me, young people are amazing, and they are capable of so much more than we allow them
Why
to
is that?
have. And
Why is that?
I don't know why that need for control or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I don't know. But I think I do have this thing about there's no shortage of talent. It's just how we develop it and how we nurture that. And doing the job we do is an absolute privilege. And I know people say that about their jobs, but I love seeing young people and being able to message Sky and say, would you come and help us? And absolutely. I haven't seen her in 6 months, and it's great to catch up.
But you can do that.
And so that for me is really special, watching them flourish and trying to figure out how can we help more people find their wee nugget, their wee bit of gold. So then
That's
they
the
can
hard
fly.
thing, isn't it? Knowing what that niche is or what they're,
But it's there. So we need to find it. We need to help them
You've kind of
flourish.
co-created this with them, though. You guys have been really brave.
To do this, really, really delighted, because it could have been one of those boys that's going,
Not doing
I'm not doing that. And I'm really pleased that he grasped the opportunity with two hands, and I hope he continues to be involved in it for a long time.
I think maybe the secret is, I think what I've learned from today is they write their stories about it. So it's maybe the stuff that we're doing in Powering Futures allows them to take something in their direction and find their talent a bit, or find what they're not good at, or work on something. And because there isn't a right answer, it's their answer. And maybe that's the bit that we need to work on more, is help our young people find their answer.
No, the answer that we think they should find.
The free trips away were quite attractive for them as well, it has to be said, you know what I mean?
But my last thing is thanks to you, right? You gave up your entire Saturday to come and meet a bunch of wallopers that you've never met before, right? And we made you greet. And we...
That's quite rare, by the way. That's quite rare.
We asked you questions and you put yourself out there, and that is... We're really grateful for that. Thank you so much, because you're helping us do what we want to do.
It's been good. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks for inviting us.
And a round of applause for you, Adam.
Thank you.
By the way, my best answer today was when we're doing the boards. The question came up, it said, what was your role in supporting your child when they were making their course choices decision? And I'm going, support from Aaron put assistant manager.
Brilliant.
Because his mum done it all. You're no interest. Aye, okay, aye. Right, this is what's happening.
Great.
Assistant manager. So.
Kitman, maybe.
Aye, at best.